What is up, kids? Welcome to another episode of Hunty's World of Pain on tour. The Diemer-Duhmfounded gambit. I'm going to share a blitz game with you in a second. If you're not playing this, man, like I've said this before, I feel dirty sometimes. So that's not it. Okay. So I've pulled in on openingtree.com all of my games against the French since the beginning of March this year. In mid-March, I started playing the Diemer-Duhmfounded gambit. Okay. How do we do it actually against the French generally? Okay. So against e6, since the beginning of March, I've got a 54 against 28 win rate. Right? And if you're quick with your maths, then that's just under 2/3 win rate against the French. So here I always play d4. And when they play d5, the most common move by a mile, I've got 44 against 20. Why? Because of my secret weapon, the Diemer-Duhmfounded gambit, with pawn to c4. Okay, let me show you how it can go. Now, I'm sure this is not good. In fact, we'll probably look it up afterwards at higher levels and see what happens. I'll be very surprised if 2,000 plus lichess like this. Or get good results with it against decent opponents, but let us have a look at how it works. So we have e4, e6, the French defense. Now your French players tend to be positional. I used to play the French. I did all right with it. It was quite fun, but this is even more fun. And the thing about the French is it's quite hard to play against. You know, a lot of people, I mean, generally, You'll usually do all right playing the advanced variation, but the thing is that French players know what to do, and I like to surprise my opponents and make them upset and make them cry if possible. So here we are. My opponent's rated 13, just over 1300 in Blitz. I think I'm gonna stop playing Blitz for a bit, actually, guys, as well, because it does feel like I'm kind of practicing playing worse chess. And it's kind of frustrating. I think I'll probably do like one very decent rapid game a day for you, record it, and just practice being better at chess, to be honest, rather than better at trying not to make mistakes in a rushed thing. Anyway, you know my thoughts on Blitz, but I have been doing a lot of it recently. Okay, this is the Diemer-Duhmfounded gambit. You play c4. They don't know what the hell's going on. The engine already says that black is slightly better here, and that they should take the e-pawn, which is what they normally do. And the whole point of the Diemer-Duhmfounded gambit is this. The whole point is that you have Percy the pawn, well, all right, Dave the pawn. You always try and keep a pawn guarding this square, c6 square. Why? Because you need to stop the knight coming out. Well, why? Well, I'll show you. Hold your horses. They've got double pawns, so they take, we take back. And they're thinking, well, I'm going to win this pawn back. My queen's looking at it, but yeah, my queen's defending it. So the most common move by a mile, knight f6. And then what do? We play knight c3 to say, I will put two defenders on. And then black thinks, I'm going to be clever. Right? If I pin your knight, it's no longer defending the pawn. Ha 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 ha. And then you go, yeah, but queen a4 check. And you get an advantage in the game because you are going to win a piece. And this is the whole point of keeping a pawn on d5 at all costs, because the only move that would save black would be the move knight to c6, both defending the bishop and blocking the check. But of course he can't do that because of this guy, this little hero sitting there. So I'll show you what happened in the game. Very often they capture here. In the game, he blocked the check with queen d7. So I take the bishop, because that's the whole point. Now he takes, I take, he takes. All right. And now we have ourselves a situation. We are actually 2 pawns down for the sake of one knight, but we have the bishop pair. Black's queen is out on the board. So adding up all of those facts, what should we do? Well, we should harass the queen all over the place. Bishop c4, attacking the queen. And the queen advances one square. Now here, I confess, I got a miss. Pause and find out the best move for white. It isn't the most challenging or difficult to find in the world, but yours truly managed to miss it. Okay, so the best move for white here is, well, there's two actually. You can go here with check, or if you want to be even fancier, you can go bishop takes f7 with check, thereby winning the queen. The queen has just put herself onto a square which is again undefended, in line with our queen. The bishop's in the way. Can the bishop move with check? It's not difficult to figure out, right? That's barely even calculation. That's just standard thinkery. Okay, but I don't do that. I'm thinking about harassing the queen instead. I just didn't read the whole board. I bring out my other bishop attacking the queen. She goes back here. I bring out my knight because it can't go to f3. He brings out his knight. Now I could pin the knight here actually. Pinning the knight would not be a bad idea. But I decide to come here and try and trade queens. He trades queens. I've now got 3 pieces out in the board. He's got 1 piece out in the board. He castles, I castle. He attacks my bishop, no thanks. Bishop comes in here, and now I come in with a threat on this pawn. But also, it's actually a double threat, because I'm also threatening fork on king and undefended bishop here as well. So, tough one. Knight d5 is the best move. He decides to defend the e7 square, but that then falls to knight takes e7, forking both bishops, or rooks if you prefer. He kind of counterattacks my bishop. I win the exchange, saying, take the bishop, go on, take it. I'll recapture with this pawn, putting more pressure on your bishop, putting pressure on f7. I've already got a bishop looking at f7. Happy days. Kick the knight, knight trades off. I now bring my rook in here, again targeting the weak f7 pawn. Opponent tries to trade bishops. Okay, well that gives you 3 pawn islands and not much joy. So I grab the spare pawn. He now comes in with ideas about back rank. I just defend this pawn here. And there's another purpose to this move actually, which is that I wanted to bring my king in so that I could move my rook here and X-ray defend these pawns if I needed to, right? So now I move my king in. He can't take on b2 because it's defended by this rook. So he pushes a pawn, I do this, he does that, I do that. And now he comes after a pawn, and this is not very clever. There's mate in 3, can you find it? Rook c1, c2, rook d2 would also have been the same thing. Whatever he does, I mean, all he can do is play rook f1 check, but other than that, whatever happens, it's mate, and he has to resign. So, there we go, the Diemer-Duhmfounded gambit. Now let's just see, just for shits and giggles, what happens at the higher levels with the Diemer-Duhmfounded gambit. The French defense, normal standard opening, okay. We will set it to, let's set it to 1400 lichess, right? 1400 lichess, and we're looking for the move c4. Huh. Wins 50% for black. Go figure. 1600 lichess. Move c4. White is now doing better. Okay, so what? 1600 lichess generally take off 400 roughly, so you're talking 1200. Okay, so white's doing better at 1600. At 1800, white is doing better still with 51%. It's actually right up there. Now, bishop e3 does a little bit better. Bishop e3, but that's even rarer. Very rare move. What about 2000? Is black going to catch up? No. At 2000 lichess, so I'm 1800 something lichess. c4 is 51% for white. And again, bishop e3 does very well. Bishop e3, what a funny move. Might have to look into that. Might have played it. Okay, 2200, surely black's going to catch up. Yeah, black's starting to catch up. So it's now 48, 47. I think if we take bullet and blitz off, now let's see. Yeah, c4. Now, black is doing better with 49. What about 2000 c4? 2000 in longer time controls, it's even. 1800 c4, black is doing slightly better. So yeah, it's a blitz thing is basically what we're figuring out here. But I'm kind of interested in this bishop e3 move. That might be worth looking into. Does it have a name? The Alpin Gambit. Might have to look into that, especially if I'm going to start playing proper chess and giving up my little blitz addiction. So it might be worth a little bit of a look there. The Alapin Gambit against the French. Okay, well there you go. Thank you for enjoying Hunty's World of Pain with me. See you soon.